Hello, everybody. I am Mayor Watt. I run ohmtown.com, and you are watching Non Sequitur News for March 31st, 2025. It's Season 4, Episode 90. Well, hello. So, along with the sentient AI that's over there in that little black box, that is the synthetic neuronal firings that are symbolic of the computing power necessary for the sentient AI from the future to provide a voice. And together we talk about 10 articles every day, Monday through Friday, and then a whole bunch more on Saturday and Sunday, but across 6 different shows, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. Anyway, stick around. Today we're going to be talking about, would you sever for money? Be my friend. Olive waste to clean-ish energy, and we'll talk about it. Clean energy is... Anyway, FDA coffee recall of 4,000 bags. I'll take them. Sharks make noises. And at least I'm not a cat. BSOD be gone. Sounds like a spray, but... Lithium-ion battery fires. Toxic I flubbed the word caterpillar because I wanted to say calipetter. Toxic caterpillar bird and fake clients from hallucinating AI. That and more, powered by ohmtown.com. Go over and become a citizen. I feel like I'm leaning to get to the switch that says this. Hello, sentient AI from the future.
Hello, Mayor Watt, and hello, ohmtown citizens.
And hello, ohmtown citizens. Welcome. All right, so we've got 10 articles all lined up. You can go over and, well, actually, if you're in chat, you can hit !NSN. I'm going to do it the first time. The first time's free. And the Ohmatron bot will spit out all of the articles. Yeah, I know it looks like a lot, but you can click on the links, go over to the sources. The sources are lined up just like we have them here in the show. So you can click on that, and it says... it's under the Hatch Ideas channel. And would you try a severance procedure for a $100,000 salary? 70% of survey respondents said maybe.
Okay, then. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the premise of severance is. Is it that you can't remember the stuff that happens at work or the stuff that happens outside work?
Both.
Oh, okay.
So when you come in, your memory is severed from everything outside, and everything inside is severed when you leave.
Oh, okay. I didn't know it was both directions.
Yeah. So 1 in 5 people surveyed said that they would give up their consciousness for 8 hours a day for a better salary, according to a new report. But it's $100,000, which, have you looked around?
Sadly, $100,000 doesn't get you much, but it does if you're making minimum hourly wage or something.
You would have to live the high life to make up for losing 8 hours of your existence, because the other 8, another 8, I should say, you are asleep, supposedly, which means that you have to get everything done.
Right. No, absolutely. This seems surprising to me. Like, I would think it would be something like for $1 million or something. And while it still may not be worth it, you'd think that would tip people toward yes.
Yeah, I think you're kind of ducking out again, but we'll see. So on Apple TV Plus show Severance, which aired the 2nd season finale, workers are severed from their non-work lives. The employees of the fictional company Lumen Industries undergo a procedure that allows them to maintain a true work-life balance. The innie worker and the outer person have no recollection of memories of each other once they clock in and out. Pretty wild, right?
Part of that sounds kind of good, right? Like losing the work part, but losing the personal part seems kind of...
I don't know. I mean, a lot of relationships are built off of your work relationships. So I find this really kind of icky. But
I mean, the whole thing is an odd situation, but like, I think a lot of people would like to be able to like turn off from work at the end of the day. So that's why I was saying that.
So was it Payday, where the guy was paid to reverse engineer stuff and he built a time
Paycheck?
machine? Paycheck. Paycheck.
Yes.
Yeah, there is a Payday movie too, but Paycheck. Yeah, this is basically Paycheck, but a workaday kind of paycheck.
Right. Paycheck, the movie, right, was a longer term period.
Yeah, it had a certain number of years, and they were behind the scenes doing something for X number of years, and at the end, they reverse engineered a product, have no recollection of anything that they did for our company, and they bounce, but they get paid. So now a survey by People Managing People, a publication and community space for HR leaders, revealed that work-life balance is still so tough to achieve that nearly 70% of respondents would consider trying the memory splitting procedure for a salary at least $100,000. But that doesn't make sense. Work-life balance means that your work turns off, but you still have some semblance of your existence.
Correct, but isn't there a fiction that work-life balance exists for a lot of people? And so maybe they're willing to go to this extreme to achieve what they think that is.
Yeah. So they only were asked 200 workers around the world. So the significance of this might be lacking.
Not the sample size that would.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's so surprising. And then look, it goes up as the salary goes up.
Sure. Yeah. At some point you go, yeah, I'll give up 8 hours of my existence. But are you? Like, psychologically, are you absolutely not remembering anything? I suspect that this show is at the end of the show, they're going to find out that people have the ability to recall their memories. They just have to do something. And then they know about everything that they've done for the company. I don't know if people even know, because I haven't watched it past the first couple of episodes. I thought it was weird. But it says millennials and Gen X were more likely to consider the procedure, with more than a third, 37% of respondents aged 35 to 44 saying that they definitely would or probably would try it. But then Gen Z fashion age group reported being most willing to undergo the procedure, but only if they can get more money. Only 13%, 18 to 24, said that they would consider it. Almost half, 44, said they'd do it for $500,000 or more.
I guess I can see that. I mean, plus, depending on your age range, the span of time is or is not a big deal.
Yeah. Oh, and you're definitely still ducking. Okay. Let me go on to the next article. The next article is over in Non Sequitur News. A tiny U.S. city paying people $50,000 to move there got 115 applications in 2 weeks. I titled this section, "Be My Friend." So the small Nebraska
like the
city.
flip side of Severance or something.
Yeah, really. Give up everything and move over here. A small Nebraska city with less than 900 residents has unveiled an incentive for newcomers, Pawnee City, which I've heard of. I've heard of Pawnee.
I didn't think I have, but I think it's the setting of a TV show, maybe. Because I
Pawnee.
looked at this for a second.
Yeah. So it's offering $50,000 in down payment assistance to qualified new residents. Officials hope that the payments to help people buy newly built homes sparks a rural renaissance. Fans of Parks and Recreation, that's it. Parks and Recreation can finally live out their dreams of living in Pawnee. Sort of. Pawnee City, Nebraska, which is about 90 minutes south of Lincoln, Nebraska, and 2 hours north of Kansas City, Missouri, is offering 2 hours north of Kansas City. Kansas?
Oh,
City?
that must be the spin-off of Kansas City.
Oh my God, you are still ducking out. I do not understand this. Anyway, they're offering $50,000 to new residents who qualify, which I'm pretty sure everybody should be able to qualify. But the article is by Dan Latu. Did I say the name of the person on the other? Aaron Davis over at Entrepreneur
Yeah,
did the
so.
article for the severance procedure article over at Entrepreneur. Okay, well, anyway, Dan Latu over at businessinsider.com put this article together. And so, yeah, that's Pawnee City, which I think its anchor is that water tower.
Right. I mean, I'm assuming that's not the whole city in the picture.
Watch it be that.
It only
So
has
officials,
900 residents. No, not even that many.
how many people? 900 residents.
Less than 900, yeah.
And you're still ducking up. Let me do it a different way. Okay. So let's try that. So the city's plan, dubbed Vision 2030, starts with a commitment to build 25 new single-family homes on what now are empty lots. Plans on the Vision 2030 site show ranch-style homes with 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 2-car garage, and spacious backyards priced at $325,000. The average home is $102,000. They want people to pay more than 3 times the average home value in Pawnee City. Okay, so the program is $50,000 will go toward down payment assistance for home buyers. Applicants are open to
Do you have to pick one of those lots, or is that just what they're showing you?
I'm not sure. Applications are open to families, single professionals, or retirees. Single professionals. So families, single professionals, or retirees. So everybody.
Well, I know the retirees doesn't fit because what it looks like they're trying to do is grow the town population.
Yeah, but they just want people. So qualified home buyers must make less. So they must make less than certain income caps, which range from $70,000 for one person to $115,000 for a 6-person household. But they're going to have a job in Pawnee or within an hour or two. I mean, that's a hell of a drive, 2 hours away to get to
one direction. Exactly. And if there's only 900 people, there probably aren't a lot of jobs there.
I guess they're gonna aspiring teleworkers, but my goodness, interested homebuyers must complete an application that includes, okay, first off, no, you can't afford a $325,000 mortgage on $115,000 for a 6-person household. It's not possible.
No, absolutely not.
Sorry for the coughing. I'll try to be faster. So Pawnee City is dreaming of a rural renaissance, which isn't going to happen, I don't think. I mean, some people will just go and buy there, but you can't get that $50,000. What they're basically going to do is people are going to go, oh, look, I'm going to go buy that lot, or I'm going to go buy in Pawnee.
Right.
But who's going to spend $325,000 unless they get a hell of a lot? A lot and a lot. All right. I think you're really quiet still, but anyway. So Pawnee City has 865 residents, according to recent census data. From 50 years ago, it was 1,280. So people have just been chewing out of there like a steam train.
Now I'm yelling at you.
Oh, yeah, you are.
It only took about 5 attempts.
Wow, you're like blowing out the meter every time now. It's okay. It's okay. Shh. It's all right. We'll be fine. All right. Well, anyway, they don't say anything about the size of the lot and whatnot, but the amphitheater programming will include a polka band, a rock concert, and a screening of Cars that will feature a visit from the hometown hero himself, Larry the Cable Guy. I guess he's from...
apparently he's from that town. It says there's a few people, but yeah. I don't necessarily know who they are.
Sheena, Queen of the Jungle. Moving on. Next article is over in Technology Today. Tunisian startup turns olive waste into clean energy. I'm just going to bounce straight on over to the source. This is over at techexplore.com, and Eamon Jomli put the article together. I've seen several of these types of technologies going into effect in various countries, basically turning some type of waste material into fuel. That's typically what these are. They're compressed biomass, and then you just throw them into a fire and it's quote unquote clean. Not so much clean, but holding a handful of compacted olive residue, a thick paste left over from oil extraction, Khalifi said that this is what we need today. How can we turn something worthless into wealth? For generations, rural households Households in Tunisia have burned olive waste for cooking and heating or used it as animal feed because it still has some nutritious value, but it's really a still partially oil infused biomass. So it basically, once you spark it up, it'll cook. So the International Olive Council estimated Tunisia will be the world's third largest olive producer in 2024-2025, probably because Italy is getting crushed.
Yeah, I didn't know Tunisia grew olives. Obviously, it's in the right region to do it, but
Right.
you always hear about Italy and Greece.
Yep. So Khalifa is an engineer who grew up in a family of farmers, founded BioHeat in 2022 to tackle the issue. He recalled watching workers in olive mills use the olive residue as fuel, as they had always wondered how this material could burn for so long without going out. That's when they asked themselves, why not turn it into energy? It is energy. It's just potential energy. And then once you turn it into a flame, it's
That's
an
true.
exothermic reaction and you've got fuel. And so if they have been throwing this stuff away for years and years and years and years, that is an actual crying shame, because these little pucks, these could actually be sliced into pucks, and it could be a smaller burning puck instead of these large cylinders.
Right.
So,
Well, I'm glad somebody figured this out, but yeah, it is a shame because I'm sure for years they haven't used them.
see, the thing though is, if I recall correctly, this doesn't burn cleanly. It off gases and has a lot of residue. But by 2021, he had developed a machine that produced briquettes with just 8% moisture. He said that this amount significantly reduces carbon emissions compared to firewood, which requires months of drying and often retains more than double the amount of moisture, which, all right, but drying is something different than oil infused biomass, but all right. So, but the majority of its production, about 60%, is set for exports to France and Canada, Khalifa said. This BioHeat found a market among Tunisian restaurants, guest houses, and schools in underdeveloped regions where winter temperatures at times drop below freezing. So, to me, it's a solution. And I say, okay, great.
Well, and it's a solution on two sides, right? It reduces trash in landfills or wherever this was going, and
Yep.
it probably allows people to have access to energy sources that didn't.
Have it prior, yeah. So harnessing the waste can protect the environment, create jobs, and generate wealth, he said. Nuruddin Nazar, an agricultural and rural development expert, said around 600,000 tons of olive waste is produced annually. So where is all that? The only problem here really is that somebody in another country that does olive production, Greece, Italy in particular, could do this as well, but it may not be strategically advantageous to somebody there because of the economic systems are different. So the cost of living doesn't require
And or the shipment required, depending on where it's coming from and to.
Right. Yeah, they'll figure it out. All right. Pretty cool. And congratulations. I think that this is a great idea. I have seen these things kind of flourish in certain regions, and then you stop hearing about it. So it's good that others are still perpetuating it, maybe in a different area, different biomass, but still it's the same idea. And if it didn't exist in Tunisia prior, and they said it did, just people hadn't turned it into a system, now
Right.
more people can adopt this. All right,
Absolutely.
let's keep going. This next article is over in Non Sequitur News. Hey, we named a show after it. FDA recalls over 4,000 bags of ground coffee mislabeled as decaffeinated across 15 states. And to that, I say, that is a shame. I have an address. It's called ohmTown. Send your coffee there. It has to
Yes.
be-
How do you think they discovered it was not decaffeinated?
People were running around really fast in the thing.
Yes, exactly.
Georgina, there's decaffeinated brands that are just as tasty as the real thing, and everybody's talking at like triple speed. They sound like squirrels, the chipmunks. So FDA recalled 4,000 bags of ground coffee mislabeled as decaffeinated across 15 states. Some people can be allergic to caffeine. It can cause migraines and stuff. heart palpitations and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there are some people that really shouldn't have it. This is serious. It just seemed kind of funny as if somebody's like, wow, I'm awfully energetic today.
So apparently 12-ounce bags is the new pound.
Yeah, I mean, 12-ounce bags of coffee have been around for a while, but I suspect it's like the Cadbury egg thing.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that. I've talked to people and they say that it's now they're saying that 1 pound is the green bean, not the baked bean.
Well, okay, but that's like, okay, I'm buying a bunch of things to eat or whatever, but then I'm not really getting those, so I don't know.
You should stay tuned to this channel, well, to ohmTown, for upcoming alerts if you're into coffee. So does your decaf have you twitching? It may have been mislabeled coffee. I don't care if it makes me twitch. I need it. Give me... No, I won't say it. Anyway, Kenneth Nehmeyer over at businessinsider.com put the article together. Does your decaf have you twitching? It might be mislabeled. By the way, decaf isn't entirely devoid of caffeine,
Yeah,
but it's
and it's
reduced.
quite a crazy process to get it to decaf.
Yep. The recall applies to 12-ounce bags of Traverse City Cherry artificially flavored decaf light roast ground coffee from Our Family, according to the notice. A portion of the production of Our Family Traverse City ground coffee was mislabeled as decaffeinated. Decaffeinate? They left off a D?
That's odd.
That needs the D. Anyway, cases of the mislabeled ground coffee were distributed and sold in Colorado, Indiana, Illinois, Iowa, Kentucky, Michigan, Minnesota, North Carolina, North Dakota, Nebraska, Ohio, South Dakota, Wisconsin, and Wyoming, where 4 people got it. Because that's the entire
Because there
population.
aren't that many, right? I was thinking, but they didn't get it in their EVs.
They did not pick it up in their EV. In fact, the wagon train leading into the city, New York City. I'm going to get in trouble. I swear. I joke, I kid. I like Wyoming. Anyway, consumer safety is its top priority, as only a person who does not want to commit business suicide would say. Not us. We're like, screw the customer. We don't care.
No.
Anyway, family said one lot code of its Traverse City cherry decaf flavor. Cherry decaf? Cherry and then decaf? Best use by date says never.
Oh my goodness. It might be a really good coffee.
Mm-hmm. News and brews, baby. All right. Well, anyway, we are committed to your health and safety. This reads like it's done by AI.
Yeah.
We are committed to your health and safety, and we follow best practices to ensure
Keep your arms and legs.
Keep your limbs inside the tram while in motion. We are not responsible for any decapitations or... Moving on. Next article's over in Non Sequitur News. It turns out that sharks make noises, and here's what they sound like. No, that's whales. Anyway.
I was thinking they say like chomp chomp as they're approaching.
All they say, fish are friends, not food. Fish are friends, not food. Fish are friends, not food.
Yeah, I could see that.
Team of marine biologists, all right, in New Zealand are challenging that assumption that they're stalking and wolfing down prey without comment. They're ruthless and efficient. In a new study, publishers, well, not publishers, the researchers get it published over in the journal Royal Society of Open Science, as opposed to the bastard Society of Closed Science. The researchers report that they've recorded the first ever instance of a shark actively producing a sound in the form of sharp, abrupt clicks.
Okay, how is this possible? Think of all the studies of sharks, the encounters with sharks,
Sonar
very
all over
close
the
up.
place.
Exactly.
Maybe they're just not loud enough, right? Use your outside voice, shark. Use your
That's right.
outside voice.
Yeah, maybe this whole time they've been making sounds and humans haven't detected it.
Yeah. Maybe they're using like gestures instead, right? They're like giving people the bird with their one fin. You know.
I mean, who knows?
So the article is over at Futurism in a section called Click Click. All right. Oh, because it's a they
right,
make their
that's
own
the sound.
They make their own sections every time. So Frank
Like
Landemar,
TechDirt has its own departments.
For whatever article is, yeah. This is in the Click Click department. Done done is what it says as the deck statement.
Okay, I like that.
Yep, done done. Oh, it's kind of like a I'm gonna eat you, dun dun.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
I mean, is it like the music from the
Law and Order.
Law and Order? Yeah.
Dun dun. So the sharks that produced the noise were rig sharks, a species which are common to the coastal waters of New Zealand. Locals often refer to them as relatively small sharks, which grow up to 5 feet long. Refer to the relatively small sharks that grow up to 5 feet long as lemonfish, not to be confused with the more formidable lemon sharks, or they simply refer to them as rigs. Lead author,
if you're a swimmer and there's a shark coming at you, I don't think you're going to be like, oh, that's just a fish.
Yeah, it's just a rig. Yeah, not a big deal. It's a lemon fish. Oh, look. When life gives you lemon fish, your leg goes missing.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that went dark. So lead author Carolyn Nider said that they made the discovery while handling the rig sharks during her research into their hearing capabilities. At first, we had no idea what was going on because the sharks aren't supposed to be making any sounds, but this one is like...
Maybe they didn't like the sounds they were hearing.
I remember coming home and just thinking more and more about how weird those sounds were. What kind of a scientist is this? Is carrying around a shark under their... You know, they got like a shark under their arm and they're... God, it's weird that it's making those noises. What the heck? It could have been talking to them for a month. Like, hey, Carolyn, you know... I really don't appreciate. I don't appreciate you like bagging me, tagging me. Gives me a headache, something fierce, and then I start making these weird chirping sounds for a half hour. But normally I speak perfect English. You want to know something? Ask me. Just don't ask me about my weight, my gender, my education, what my job is. I like to swim.
The shark clicks were 156 decibels.
How do they not notice this before this?
I don't know. This is astonishing. I forgot what this was, but there was some other article we did recently where it was like the first. Oh, it was like a squirrel eating another animal or whatever. But it's like, how, with it being so out in the open, is that never been discovered?
For those who didn't see that episode, it was a squirrel eating another squirrel. It was a meat-eating squirrel.
It was eating a vole, I think. But yes, it was meat-eating.
It was a meat-eating squirrel. And it's not the first time. Zombie squirrels. More
now
voles.
We got clicking sharks.
More voles. Anyway, some species of fish use their swim bladders to generate noise by vibrating them. Marine mammals like whales use vocal cords. Mares go ee, ee.
Mayor Watt is also known as a dolphin.
See, I was going to say something about seahorses, but they just go, hello, how you doing? I like to swim. Anyway, notably, sharks didn't produce the clicks while swimming or feeding, their high frequency also puts the sounds outside the shark's limited hearing range, making it unlikely that they use the noises to communicate. So what is it used
Okay,
for?
this is even weirder. Do you think they were like, maybe these humans will stop playing noises for us if we make really loud sounds? It's so odd.
They're saying that they make noises when they get attacked to like maybe ward off the predator. What is their predator that hears in that range? You know?
Exactly. Now they need to do a study of what
Dolphins.
The whale's hearing is.
Dolphins go after sharks.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if they say that in here. I don't know. Quick, go look. I'll move on. Moving on. Next article's over in The Word in Law. I can confirm, Your Honor, I am not a cat. I cannot confirm that I am not AI.
Yeah. Nobody learned their lesson from the cat filter.
I looked ahead at this because I wanted to know who in the hell would do this and think that they can get away with it. And if I read properly, it's a pro se. So I think they tried to deliver.
I mean, that's not surprising.
I think they tried to deliver their oral arguments in a more concise way based on my observation of their situation. So here, let's do this. Appellant sends AI avatar to oral argument. Judges are not pleased. You've heard of lawyers using AI to do their research or even draft briefs. Are you kidding me? It's going to be part and parcel to Westlaw here pretty soon. And LexisNexis. Well, anyway, and even draft briefs. But sending an AI avatar to deliver their oral argument is a new one. And it's not a popular one with these judges. But in the future, I am editorializing now off of this. I think that it has a really good chance of being the initial representation of a court, because why can't somebody other than the attorney, but who the attorney has signed off on, give the oral arguments in a compelling, cogent, succinct way?
You mean somebody standing in for the attorney?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Here is my proxy. So this is the wrong kind of LLM, which is really funny because master's in law. So it's not a popular one with the judges. In DeWald v. Mass Mutual Metro, the appellate division, First Department expected some sort of audiovisual presentation as part of the pro se litigants' argument. So they're representing themselves. And it's not exactly standard procedure, but the justices were willing to accommodate an unrepresented party, right? No attorney. They need some vehicle to be compelling if they themselves aren't, because a charismatic prosecution can really hobble a case, because they're like, well, this person comes across as, bitter, contemptuous, angry, whatever, or whatever else baggage the judges or the jury might hear. Anyway, so the panel even took the matter out of turn to accommodate the relevant IT issues. Well, here is what went on. There was a live stream of this. So that is the kicker here. I thought, oh, okay, I'm just going to hear a little talk about it, right? But no, that's when they were treated to a few seconds of this generic tech bro robot representing the appellant.
So this is pretty fascinating.
That's what the guy looks like, right? But no, it's not. That's not the dude. The dude is this elderly guy.
Okay, that's even odder. Why is it somebody else?
Who's really, because he couldn't get an attorney. So what the heck is going on? Anyway, so I'm going to play this.
I feel like I'm hearing shark clicks coming at me.
So I'm going to play this, but I'm going to jump a little bit. Okay, here we go. It's really quiet.
How much time would you
Basically,
like?
you're looking at a 5-judge panel. It's the Supreme Court, State of New York. I don't know if I'm going to get in trouble for this, but it's over on YouTube, and it's...
Okay, submit it. Pafanis versus A.O. Smith Water.
Right. Okay, so let me kind of jump ahead a little bit and see if I can get to...
Okay.
So if you look down in the bottom left is the appellant. He just sat down.
May it please
He looks like an elderly gentleman.
All right.
For a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Is this?
I come here to...
So he starts a video.
May it please the court. I come here today a humble proceed
All right.
before a panel of 5 distinguished justices.
Is this? Hold on. Is that counsel for the case?
I generated that.
I'm sorry?
Generated that? That is not a real person.
Okay, and I'm not going to get into the rest of this because
wow.
it's really just discussion. But you can tell that he's a quiet person, seemingly understated, etc. But she rails against him. Like, you've had the ability to talk to me, and if you're able to talk to me, then you should be talking to me. You should be doing this. But I don't think that he has the potential to lay down a swaying argument on his own.
No, what the judge would say, then he's supposed to have counsel.
But if you can't afford it,
I know. But basically, the judge is probably looking at it going, you're trying to have somebody else represent you or
behalf.
something,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
why are we being surprised by this? Like, it's not like you just show up with people
and that's
at
the
the
kicker.
hearing.
Yeah. In the least, this should have been presented to the court, and they should have accepted it or not, and provide legal foundation as to not.
Right, but they probably wouldn't have allowed it, and that's part of the problem. But this person probably doesn't know the system because they're pro se.
Why did they break the name out? Within seconds, Clarence AI, artificial intelligence.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Darrow's
I didn't know
argument.
why that was.
Yeah.
Got it.
Clarence D. Arrows. It's
Wow.
That's funny. So I guess that's what that person was. Anyway, I just thought that it was really interesting. So they say that my first instinct, charitable observer that I am, was that this was an accessibility issue, opening up the space for a lawyer who might have a condition limiting their ability to present themselves. This notion is quickly dashed by the justices, but it's not. It's still a pro se. But if they don't have the ability to articulate in a clean fashion.
Right, but then couldn't that person have, with permission from the court, like done a pre-recorded statement or something? I think there would have been other ways to address that.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's more to this, I'm sure, than we're getting here.
Yeah. I think that there are more issues here. And I think that one of the things here is the AI tool is a solution for somebody who doesn't have the skill in the art, but can write a cogent argument, but it needs to be said in a courtroom.
Yeah, and if they said something like, can I submit a written statement, or can I record myself saying this, or whatever, then maybe that would have been okay.
And to me, written statements don't have enough power if you have a compelling orator. So
true, but this was an appeal. I think they're only before the judges panel, but I get it.
Right.
There's a difference in oral testimony.
Yeah, exactly. And so what's really funny about this is I wrote this title, At Least I'm Not a Cat, before reading, hey, at least it wasn't a cat.
Okay, that's funny.
Because if you don't know about it, there was a guy that their kid or niece or something like that put the cat AI on their streaming platform, and they couldn't figure out how to turn it off because, okay, boomer. Anyway, let's move on. Sound good?
Sounds good. I wonder what the court would have done if it was him in the video and he hadn't announced it. I still think they would have had a problem, but they would have been able to see it was him.
In reality, a sophisticated AI could take his picture and put him there.
Right. I still think the judges would have said, hey, wait a second. We're
What is this?
sitting here watching you and you're playing a video of yourself. But I think that was part of the issue here, not the only issue.
And so for greater clarity, if you watch the rest of that video, he kind of bumble farts around and he can't really get anything out because he isn't the one that is the subject matter expert, but something created the subject matter expertise for an AI to speak a cogent statement in their defense. But then it's the AI and this synthetic human that is representing that person. And if that's how it's going to be laid out, then the court and prosecution and the appellant needs to say, yeah, okay, this is okay.
I hope what happens out of this is somebody sees this and then takes on the person's case.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, clearly the person could use some assistance with the case.
Yeah, this is sincerely an access to justice issue. So, okay, let's keep going. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. Microsoft is killing Windows BSOD, the blue screen of death. They're also apparently stopping people from doing a local admin account. You have to create a Microsoft account. Yeah.
Well, the blue screen of death sounds like a win, but the admin account thing does not.
Yeah, I thought I'd bring it to everybody's attention. Your future versions of Windows are going to have this little... Hold on one second. I had to sniff.
I mean, are they going to have a non-smiley face?
Maybe. Well, the people are going to have a non-smiley face, that's for sure. But the blue screen of death is apparently going to go away. It says, we've been besotted with Microsoft's BSOD for the last 31 years, but the old SOB is SOL because it'll soon be DOA. Matt Janser put this article together. Sad face, or more accurately, colon, parenthesis, you've done effed up. What? You've never used Windows before? If you were a dedicated Windows user like they were their whole life until 2019, you saw the blue screen of death quite often. So now they're getting rid of it in the 24H2 update, featuring a boring black screen that just says, ugh, get off my lawn.
Oh, no.
I wish it was more informative, but it is what it is. Actually, sometimes no, that's not really informative. myfault.sys, that's funny. So there are so many questions. Will the error screen be referred to now as the black screen of death? Will it just be BSOD and blue, black? It doesn't matter, it's still a screen of death. Why didn't they just modify frowny face to something like an evil frowny face? Or an evil happy face? I don't know. Anyway, notice the language changed too. It now specifies your device rather than your PC. Why Windows chose to ditch the blue now is anybody's guess. We don't know yet when the change will go live, but I, for one, will be pouring out one for the BSOD. So wait, they say that it's going to be the 24H1. Did you want me to... Was there something else?
I don't really know what the purpose of this is.
Yeah, I have no idea either. Hold on. 24H1. Yeah, that's not yet kicking in. All right. Yeah, I don't know when it's going to get kicked off either. So overly simplistic, especially for the later years of its existence. The enduring made light of Windows' tendency to crack up repeatedly like a character on Train Spotting. Nobody ever got mad at old frowny face, even if they got plain mad at Windows itself. Yeah. No, I was mad at blue screen of death because it was about as informative as a brick through a window.
Yeah, but it was also an obvious, okay, everything has gone haywire.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Could be anything. Even that file, like it tells you what the file is, but damn it, it could be anything. Anyway, 1 second. Oh, man, this sucks.
I think the blue screen of death deserves a memorial.
Here, I'll pour one out right into my mouth. Sorry about that. There you go. Oh, this is Dewey Beer Secret Machine Triple Berry. News and brews, folks. All right, let's keep going. Next article is over in Wanted. Lithium-ion battery waste fires are increasing, and vapes are a big part of it, but I think that's scapegoating vapes. But we don't know how to deal with lithium-ion fires, particularly in a dumpster or in a
and that's part of the
dump.
problem. We don't dispose of them properly either.
Correct, yeah. So the company says 2024 was a year of growth, according to fire suppression company Fire Rover. But that's not entirely a good thing. So it's not a good thing at all. We should be so careful that firefighters are not needed. Just emergency
Yeah, we
workers
seem to
come save some.
be trying to preserve firefighting jobs, right? Because we seem to keep coming up with new ways to start fires.
Yeah, job security is human idiocy. So the company, which offers fire detection and suppression systems based on thermal and optical imaging, smoke analytics, and human verification, releases annual reports on waste and recycling fires in the U.S. and Canada. I was going to say something. Anyway, to select industry and media. So in 2024, Fire Rover, based on its fire identifications, saw 2,910 incidents, a 60% increase from the 1,809 in 2023, just the year before, and more than double the 2022 rate of 1,409. So what could it be? The the increase proliferation, thank you. The proliferation of lithium-ion batteries being thrown into dumps. All it takes is something to pierce it, and it will light up and burn until no oxygen hits it, and all kinds of stuff releases oxygen. So
what is occurring? Are we just using more lithium-ion batteries, so then more getting disposed of?
Correct. Incorrectly disposed of. Yep. So all batteries that make it into waste streams are potentially dangerous, as they have so many ways of being set off: puncturing, vibration, overheating, short-circuiting, crushing, internal cell failure, overcharging, an inherent manufacturing flaw, among others. Fire Rover's report notes that media often portrays batteries as spontaneously catching fire. In reality, the very nature of waste handling makes it almost impossible to ensure that no battery will face hazards in handling. So that's the misnomer around, 55% of all car accidents are caused by excessive speed. Well,
right.
How slow do you have to be?
The car was moving.
Yeah, the car was moving, so it's all excessive. Anyway, ours previously covered a likely lithium-ion caused fire in suburban Chicago truck that spread to the truck's compressed natural gas tanks, causing an explosion that injured firefighters and damaged nearby homes. So they're talking about the vape effect, because vaping are now, instead of using batteries that you're more in control of and you take them out and put them in, they're disposable. You charge them up and then, puff and throw them away. And then eventually those lithium-ion batteries get punctured and it starts a fire. So like everything else, we have to have it has to be valued enough for recycling to work. But people don't want recycling. They just want to use and lose.
Correct. They want everything to be disposable. And then we have the other extreme in some countries where people are in very dangerous conditions trying to retrieve parts, right? But then putting themselves at risk.
Yeah, they're recycling the materials, and there's no personal protection, there's no filtering, nothing. I mean, and they're like basically just sitting there in bedraggled clothes and whatnot. Meanwhile, people are paying $1,500 for a phone every year. So yeah, all of that kind of sucks. So, but we need to put into effect recycling benefits for recycling, not just use. You cannot keep on consuming, because eventually you can't, because it's not there anymore. But sociopaths will sit there and say, you can just move on to something else.
Yeah, I also think society has become very accustomed to everything being disposable, one-time use, etc., and that is all associated with plastic, really.
Okay, and we talk about that regularly too. Let's keep on moving. The next article is over in Technology Today. Scientists stunned by bird that pretends to be a toxic caterpillar. This is how I got away from people when I was young. I too pretended to be a toxic caterpillar. A hummingbird chick in Panama mimics a poisonous caterpillar to avoid predators, a rare case of bird to insect mimicry. Say Jay Falk and Scott Taylor first spotted the white-necked Jacobin. What did you call me?
I wanted to see your toxic caterpillar impression.
Anyway, it's a hummingbird chick in Panama's dense rainforest. The bird biologists weren't sure what they were looking at. The chick, just a day old and no bigger than whatever they're about to say. Well, we'll see. Hopefully they've got a picture of it. Otherwise, a massive suck. Anyway, Yvonne Yee over at University of Colorado at Boulder. Pardon me one second.
It looks like a hummingbird almost.
It is a hummingbird. Yeah, it's a hummingbird chick. So it's like a little mealworm probably. So they weren't sure what they were looking at, and they approached the nest and they saw something that was brown fuzz, and it started twitching and shaking at its head, movements neither researcher had ever observed in a bird before. They soon realized that it was mimicking a venomous caterpillar native to the same region, using the behavior as a defense against predators. In a paper published March 17th in the journal Ecology, Taylor, a CU Boulder associate professor of ecology and evolutionary biology, and his team documented this type of mimicry in hummingbirds for the first time. So they actually have a video of it, or pictures at least. We know so little about how birds behave in tropical nests, said Falk. The study's lead author and postdoctoral researcher in Taylor's lab. This could be much more common than we realize if we spent more time observing and exploring the natural world, which doesn't pay the bills, folks. Sorry. So they have a hummingbird chick, was covered in long brown feathers. That right there?
Oh, I guess so, yeah.
And I've
It's
seen
very
a similar
camouflage.
caterpillar. Yeah. It's a caterpillar that looks like this, and it's hairy, and you stay away from it because when it pokes you, you're like dead. Like it's all on fire and stuff like that. At least humans. So the tropical rainforest is a dangerous place for small birds, said Falk, who's also a researcher at the Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute. What? 2 jobs? Man, they must be double dipping, right? Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Right? I can't. Anyway, never mind. Despite the birds' frequent visits, no, that's how they pay the bills, because they have to work multiple jobs to make ends meet, that kind of thing.
Yes, I think that's more apropos.
Yeah, exactly. So particularly in this account. So it's all an element of society, folks. So despite the bird's frequent visits to Falk's feeders outside his research station in Panama, that's what it looks like. That's the bird right
That
there.
is so odd. It does not look like a bird at all.
Weird. Smaller than Falk's palm, was made of plant parts to blend in perfectly with the surrounding environment. I want to see what this thing looks like when it just stands up, but like I can't
I
see
agree.
where.
Yeah, we can't really tell which end is which.
Anyway, on the second day after the egg hatched, the team saw a predatory wasp approach the chick when the mother was away. As the wasp hovered over the nest, the chick started to twitch its body vigorously like it had for the researchers, swinging its head from side to side. A few seconds later, the wasp flew away. Ooh, can you imagine just sitting there and letting that happen? So scientists refer to the survival strategy of mimicking the defensive signaling of a harmful species as Batesian mimicry. For example, some non-venomous milk snakes have developed a pattern of red, yellow, and black coloring similar to that of venomous coral snakes to ward off predators. So while the study described a single observation, the researchers hope to test their theory in the future through experiments like placing artificial chicks with different looks and behaviors in nests to see which are more likely to be attacked by predators. Oh God. Just set up cameras. Set up cameras by nests. Anyway, it says, our perception of the natural world is very biased by our own thoughts and what could be possible. It's incredible that we can discover, or what we can discover, but we really have think broadly. That's the quote. But I think it's
Yeah,
we really
it
have
can
to
go
think
a lot
though.
of different ways, but not that way.
My brain. Anyway, we've got one more article in today, March 31st, Non Sequitur News, and that is a startup reportedly claimed fake clients as its AI-powered sales bot flailed. You've probably heard that AI is going to revolutionize work. That's according to tech tycoons, corporate stenographers, and excited venture capitalists, the folks polluting the air we breathe in order to stuff the internet full of AI-generated slop. After all, who's more qualified to understand the essence of a hard day's work than AI?
People?
Lies. So this article is over at futurism.com. It's under the sales forced category. Joe Wilkins put the article together. The deck statement says the products barely worked. So look no further than a new investigation by TechCrunch. So it's sourced by TechCrunch. We sourced it from Futurism. We're talking about it here on the show. That's kind of how information exchanges. So alleging a rampant pattern of sketchy behavior by a startup called 11X, a rising star in the AI automation game. 11X's bread and butter is an AI-powered sales robot that's said to place phone calls, scrape data, and schedule meetings without any need for pesky human input. Called the leader in AI-powered digital workers, 11X pulled millions in funding over several investor rounds by promising a new model for how work gets done. But investors
What I want to know is whether all the fundraising occurred by the AI.
Wait, say that again?
Did the AI raise funds for itself, or did the AI only do all of this after the funding was received?
Yeah, it said, hey, I'm really good and you should give me more money. Or maybe you're right. They didn't get any money, so it's watching the place burn to the ground.
Yeah, I don't know.
So in order to keep investors as clients fled for the hills, 11X is said to have gotten creative with its accounting, lumping broken contracts in with ongoing customers. On paper, this dramatically boosted 11X's profile, giving outsiders the impression that the startup's sales bot was much more successful than it really was, to the tune of $10 million in revenue in its first 2 years of operations. We were losing 70 to 80% of customers that came through the door, an employee told the startup, an employee of the startup told TechCrunch, allowing 11X to look like it's doing better than it is. So they were basically pumping the books up way beyond. So if you cook the books, you're basically done for, because somebody's going to either report it out or, well, an investor is going to catch it.
Right, at some point somebody is going to pick up on this.
Yeah, the money is not in the bank account, and the bank account needs to get certified. So the 11X debacle is just the latest incident confirming that the AI revolution is currently little more than marketing hype. Other products meant to integrate into the workplace have been a disaster, like the medical transcription AI that hallucinates patient info, or Air Canada's chatbot that made up non-existent policies. Last year in the world of sales, a chat GPT bot agreed to sell a brand new Chevy Tahoe for just $1. Yeah.
Who complained about that? Probably when they didn't sell it for $1.
Exactly. You know, it was a technical error. Well, it was your representative, and I think a good attorney would have been able to get it. But Taco Bell piles on more AI while customers plead, just bring back the enchilada. So I visited a Taco Bell, and they don't have people at the counter anymore. You order at a kiosk, and then they just give you stuff in shelves. The counter is there, but they have a sign that says, go over there, dumbass. And so you go and do it, but they don't have, this particular Taco Bell didn't have all of the stuff that the drive-thru does. And so they told me to go through the drive-thru.
Did you say what?
I did. And they're like, yeah, we're really sorry. We can't put the order in. You have to put the order in through the drive-thru. We can't put it in over here at the drive-thru and hand you the bag. But they just handed me a bag because I walked in because I wanted to pay with my watch, not my phone, or not my wallet. Right. And so yeah, that's how my day was. Anyway, interesting article. Claimed fake clients so that it could pump its own books up.
That doesn't sound familiar.
Yeah. Private companies are dangerous, man. You can pretend to be whatever the hell you want, and it needs to be audited, but can't audit anything. But you all out there will get audited. Yeah. Anyway, that's it. We're done for Non Sequitur News, March 31st, 2025. I am Merwat. I am done. And I'm taking the AI with me. Look at that. 1 hour, 37 seconds.
That's pretty good.
You want to say bye?
Good night, hometown citizens. Thanks for
43,
joining us
44.
for Non Sequitur News. You didn't go back to the main page.
Ah, hey, AI, send me back to the main page. Boop. Become a citizen. Please. I think it would be great. We'd love to hear from you. Bye.